Mr. Edward Morrison, over to you. We are live.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, or perhaps I should say good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are watching from around the world. Welcome to the live announcement of the first two workouts for the 2020 Grand Slam, brought to you, of course, by Cosmorex Coffee, our broadcast partner, who are providing liquid weaponry to everyday athletes. My name is Ed Morrison. I'm your host for this week and the rest of the competition season. And it's fair to say that with so many things being taken away or removed for us over the last few months, I'm thrilled to be back calling a good old-fashioned functional fitness competition that everyday athletes can get involved in. Tonight, we've got some ripping athletes and ripping people throwing down for you, providing a demonstration of the workouts as soon as it's announced. Now, of course, this is about so much more than just fitness. This is about keeping people moving and refreshing the body and the mind. Of course, the events of the last few months have challenged us all and brought conversations about mental health to the forefront. And this is an issue that the Grand Slam cares deeply about and hopes to address. Now, don't forget, there is still time to register, and that's absolutely free to do so. But perhaps to tell you more about that, I can welcome my co-host and the director of the Grand Slam, Mr. Matt Locke. Matt, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Morrison. It's good to be here and appreciate you taking control of the evening for us.
It's my great pleasure, mate. Now, I imagine, like most of us, this has been a time for you to adapt. We keep hearing this word over and over again, adapt. When did you start deciding that this event would have to look different to what you had planned in light of COVID-19?
Yeah, that's a great question. At the end of the day, it became very obvious quite quickly. The same week that we launched the Grand Slam 2020 was the same week that every gym in the Western world shut down. So we realized it became obvious how serious the global pandemic was and the reality of all business or most business being shut down. So we had, I think, four decisions or four options to choose from. And the most congruent with what we're about was to continue on, to run the Grand Slam, to make it a free event. And at the end of the day, we had to rewrite the whole programming on the basis that we understood that people could still be in lockdown or in quarantine and were unlikely to have access to gym equipment. So everything we're going to see tonight and for the next 3 weeks was certainly plan B, and that's okay. The show must go on.
Well, it's certainly going on. We've got some ripping athletes about to throw down. Now, Matt, I wanted to ask you, exercise has always been important for mental health. And I know that that's a link that you're particularly well versed in. But do you think it's becoming clearer and more evident to people how important that link is in light, once again, of the last few months?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the link between mental health and exercise, I mean, that's a well-trodden path. And, getting the endorphins flowing, getting the blood flowing, and the positive effect that has on the body and mind, that's well known. I mean, I think that's been amplified, let's say, the reality of that for a lot of people. But as well, I think what's really come to the foreground is really the sense of community that exists within the fitness space and the power of that community and the importance of that community, that human connection. I know that, like most gyms, we've been training online over the last few weeks, and thankfully for Australia at least, we got in New South Wales, we got the heads up that we're able to go back to sort of normal training, limited numbers and so on, but nonetheless, and that's fantastic news. But I think, look, every cloud has a silver lining, and obviously we wouldn't wish the pandemic to reoccur. But what it has done, I think, is, if anything, it's strengthened the bonds that are formed around the whole subject of fitness and health, which in itself is fantastic.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Matt, one thing that you've done amazingly well for the fitness community and the fitness space is give us this term everyday athlete and really provide some strong definitions around who is an everyday athlete and what they can be doing and what they're capable of doing. This event, the Grand Slam, was very much inspired and created for the everyday athlete. Can you speak a little bit about that to us?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when we kicked off the journey with the Bay Games 3.5 years ago, what became really evident very quickly was the sense of community, to use that word again, that was created, the spirit of the event, and how transformational that could be for really, literally, for some people's lives, as aside for just being a great means of exercise and having some fun, but really transformational for some people. And what we wanted to do was capture the spirit of that event, which is designed exclusively for everyday athletes, where we're trying to recreate, nonetheless, the experience of an elite athlete. But we wanted to take that to everyday athletes around the world. And our way of doing that is through the Grand Slam with the online competition. Now, in a normal year, of course, the winners from the Grand Slam would be flown to Australia, and they'd certainly get to compete in the main arena of the Bay Games, amongst other things. Unfortunately, with COVID-19, we've had to rewrite the rule book a little bit in that. But nonetheless, as we'll hear a little bit later, we've still got some amazing prizes. But at the end of the day, it's our way of bringing the Bay Games and the spirit of the Bay Games to the rest of the world.
Now, you've mentioned the Bay Games a few times now. It would be remiss of me to not ask, can we get an idea of what the planning and what the scheduling around the Bay Games is at the moment, and what can people expect? Because I know a lot of our viewers are obviously participants or people that would be looking to sign up for the Bay Games. Where are we at with that thing?
Yeah, that's also a great question, and it's the most amazing thing. I mean, even yesterday we were getting emails from athletes going, "Wow, when are you going to open Regos for the Bay Games? We've got 2 pairs that want to enter," and so on, and that's awesome. One of the other things we did when COVID kicked off is we pressed the pause button on registrations for the Bay Games, because obviously we don't know, and we certainly didn't know then, what the long-term implications would be. As it stands today, a situation report right now is that it's still scheduled for the beginning of November this year in Jervis Bay, New South Wales. To the best of our knowledge, we hope it will go ahead. We're in close consultation with the Shoalhaven City Council, who are, I have to say, absolutely awesome. The tourism team there do an amazing job. And we're all fingers crossed that the event will go ahead. If it doesn't, then we do have some backup dates in March. So that's the plan B there. But we hope it'll go ahead. And look, if there isn't a second spike with COVID-19, if we as a country can avoid a second spike, then there's every chance that it'll go ahead. There may be some implications, I'm sure, around how we handle the equipment, how we handle particularly the crowd in terms of social distancing, and how we clean the equipment in between heats and so on. But fingers crossed, we are still absolutely planning for the Bay Games to go ahead this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed. Matt, we're about to hear from Catherine Newton from Are You OK? And before I talk about that and introduce her, I'd like you to just tell our viewers what you're doing around the registration for the Grand Slam, because I just think it's a wonderful initiative. And I think perhaps, I know this wasn't initially something that was in play, but you guys adapted very quickly. So there's no registration fee for the Grand Slam, but what is happening for each person that enters?
Yeah, thank you. What we'd said all along, because we're so, I guess, closely in support of suicide prevention and mental health, it's such an important topic for all of us, that we had said all along that $1 would go from every single registration to a mental health charity in that country. So in Australia, for sure, Are You OK is who we're in support of. And we have a similar organisation in New Zealand, the USA, it's the Walking Wounded Project, for example, in Canada and the UK and Brazil. So if you register from those countries, then that donation goes to the charity in your country. When we made the decision to make it a free event for this year, it felt incongruent to us to somehow penalise those charities who would now lose out from that financial support. So we decided that we'd continue that. So for every single registration for the Grand Slam 2020, we, the Bay Games, will still make that donation of $1 per registration. And yeah, on that basis, if you haven't registered already, please do. I mean, at the end of the day, the financial interest for registering for the Bay Games, it's all about mental health in 2020.
Well, I think this is a wonderful initiative, Matt. And so congratulations to yourself and the team on doing that. Now, Are You OK is a suicide prevention charity in Australia, reminding people that having meaningful conversation with mates and loved ones could save lives. Are You OK is in support of the Grand Slam, and we're about to hear from Catherine Newton. Jim, take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, CEO of Are You OK? Right now we don't need to tell you that it's challenging times. What we are here to tell you is that we can be a nation of kindness, of looking out for others, and of connectedness. Many of us right now will be feeling different levels of anxiety, fear and confusion. But for those who are feeling well and able, we're encouraging you to check in with your friends, your family and your teammates. How can you do this when we're being told to distance? Well, we can use the devices that are at our fingertips. Lock in a FaceTime, lock in a phone call, send an SMS or post online. All of these things are available to us. And it's also a way that we can trust the signs if we spot that someone's behaving even more out of the norm. For example, that might be listening or looking at the language that they're using, what they're doing online. Are they posting more or less? Are they answering your calls or your messages? Just anything where you think your gut is telling you that something's not quite right. Most of us right now can be a virtual shoulder, so please stay connected and ask, are you okay?
Brutal.
Yeah, such a strong message. Okay, Ed, let's get this show on the road and over to you.
No worries, Matt. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to introduce the female athletes that are going to be demonstrating 1.20 and 2.20. Now, we've got Felicity Lemke and Jess Grant from Galvanize Fitness. Welcome, ladies. How are you this evening?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Now, Felicity, we know about your history. You're an Olympic athlete, and it's fair to say that you train for decades towards one event. Is it a bit of a change of pace to be training for an event that you've only known for 24 to 48 hours for you?
Yeah, it's definitely slightly different. I think sometimes it's almost better because you don't think about it and overthink about it too much. So you kind of just go in and give it everything you've got. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And Jess, you're the owner of Cosmorex Coffee, and we thank you for your support in this event. I personally don't mind a pre-workout coffee myself. Now it's 7:15 p.m. local time for you. How many coffees have you racked up today and in the last few hours?
I usually don't drink coffee after 12, and I usually sit around 3 a day, but today I've had 6 and 3 of them have been after 12.
Preloaded.
I'm not sure how much it's going to help me, but hopefully.
Well, if you're victorious tonight, at least you'll be up for an after party. I think you'll have energy for that. Thank you so much, ladies. Now we will introduce the other female pair that will be throwing down with them. And from Epic Fitness, we have Lauren Wilson and Aston Friend. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, ladies, you two train together relatively often. Is that a fair call to make?
Yes. Yes.
So,
train. Yeah.
No, sorry. Go ahead. How often would you train together?
At least 2 to 3 times a week. Because usually we're together in a team for the Bay Games. So we try to train as a team with 2 of our other teammates.
So in terms of communication this evening, are we going to see a good example of team communication on this Zoom call, or are we going to see some fire back and forth between you? Aston, perhaps I'll throw that one towards you.
You might see a couple of dirty looks, but yeah, hopefully nothing too bad.
No worries. Well, without any further ado, Matt, I'm going to hand back to you so that you can announce to our viewers what the first 2 workouts of the 2020 Grand Slam will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Ed. And as I mentioned already, we got all the programming in place already for the 2020 Grand Slam under normal circumstances, under normal conditions. Obviously, with COVID-19, we had to basically take the programming that was planned for this year, and we've put that on the shelf, and we're going to pull that out next year. I have to say, we're all internally, we're all a bit disappointed because we were so excited about the programming. However, that said, Will Henke from WonderFit, who's our head of programming, he and the team have worked wonders and have come up with, I have to say, no compromise whatsoever. So we've come up, as I've said, with workouts that can be done at home. Technically, can be done over Zoom in different locations if that's necessary because of COVID. And with minimal equipment. So the athletes throughout this year's event for COVID Home Edition, the COVID-19 Home Edition, you'll only need a jump rope and you only need a backpack with some weight in it. You're going to need a set of scales, of course, to weigh the backpack and to show the camera on the WeTime app, for example, what the weight of the backpack is. But you only need a jump rope and a backpack. But don't let that fool you because the workouts, they're well considered, they're well tested, And as you're about to find out, they're quite demanding. But look, one of the reasons we shifted to a pairs event this year was because for us, it's all about communication, connection, mateship, and as we've talked about, in support of mental health. So that's why this year onwards, it's a pairs event. And with that, from a programming perspective, it really brings in some new dimensions, some quite exciting dimensions, which include, as Ed's talked about already, communication, for example. That becomes really, really important, especially when the athletes start getting fatigued, the body's under stress and under load. Communication, we might see some tonight where it gets a little bit more challenging than it normally would under normal circumstances, but as well strategy. And that's certainly very true for workout 1.20, where strategy really is it's going to be so important to the output. So without further ado, let's have a look at workout 1.20. Now, as you can see, there are two parts to event 1.20 C90. In addition, we're calling them 1A and 1B. Whatever happens, the athletes still will be submitting a single score onto competition corner. Now, the movements, there are 4 movements in 1A and 1B, and the movements are the same. But for the eagle-eyed amongst you, you'll notice that the rep ranges have changed. So the 4 movements are overhead, kneeling, backpack, step-ups, tall plank, alternating toe touches. We have some drop squats, and we have some backpack Russian twists. Now for the advanced athletes doing the Russian twists, both feet will be off the ground, and the intermediate athletes can choose either feet, which means heels and toes fully flat on the ground, or soles of the feet together in the butterfly sit-up position. And we can see the weight as well. For advanced male 20 kilos, female 15 kilos, so that's the weight inside the backpack. And intermediate athletes, we have male 15 kilos, female 10 kilos. And again, that's the weight inside the backpack. Now, handy hint for anyone who has signed up or is going to sign up, those weights will not change. Okay, so for the whole of this event, the backpack weights will stay the same. So get it set up for the first time and leave it that way for the 3 weeks, because you will need it more than once over the next 3 weeks. Okay, now, the workouts, you could see the rep ranges were different between 1A and 1B, and we're going to have a look now. Here's the kicker about this workout. So event 1A, which had the lower rep range, so 10, 12, 14, 16, an ascending ladder, is actually a 10-minute AMRAP, or complete as many reps as possible. So the athlete who's doing 1A will work their way through those 4 movements, those rep ranges, as many times as possible in a 10-minute period. Now the 1B is subtly different. The same 4 movements, but a higher rep range. So there's 20, 24, 28, and 32 are the rep ranges, but it's not as many reps as possible. It's 2 rounds for time. So whoever's doing that, they have to race their way through 2 complete rounds as quickly as possible to get their score. Now, from what I've been saying, the language I've been using, what becomes obvious is, yes, it's a pairs event, but at the end of the day, one athlete will be doing 1A, and the other athlete will do 1B. They will do it at the same time, and when they're individually finished, they're finished. There's no then swapping over and doing the other half of the workout. So each athlete will the teams will have to decide which of their pair is going to do which workout. And this is where strategy comes into play. So important. You have an athlete who might have a bit better endurance, who can go for the 10-minute AMRAP, for example, versus an athlete who's kind of hardcore, can go hard and fast and will rip through 2 rounds of 1B. That's for you to decide. Now, full disclosure, normally when we do these live announcements, we would literally be releasing the workouts for our athletes tonight. They'd have about 10 minutes to warm up, and they go into it hard. But we don't really have the opportunity because we're doing it over Zoom. So our athletes tonight have seen the workouts, but they only got them last night. So they haven't really had any time to prepare physically for them, but they have had the opportunity of preparing mentally and getting their strategy in place and deciding who is doing 1A and who's doing 1B. So with that said, what I'm going to do is hand you back to Ed, and he's going to dig in a little bit with our athletes and see what their strategies are.
Thank you, Matt. Well, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stop these caged lions before they work out. I've got a lot of arm swings and leg kicks going on my screen. Or Lauren and Aston, I might start with you. Can you talk me through who is doing 1A and who is doing 1B, and if there was an obvious reason for you guys to choose that?
Well, unfortunately, Lauren being the coach, I just get told what I'm doing. So she preferred 1A in that there was a set time and she can work for the whole time, and she's making me go as fast as I can.
I didn't want to be left behind in the 2 rounds for time.
I understand. That makes sense. And Aston, is the plan here just to go as hard as you possibly can? Is there any game plan to 1B, or is it literally a sprint out the gates?
My game plan is just try not to stop. And now I've just found out that I'm pairing against an Olympic athlete. So now I'm a little bit more nervous.
Yeah, best of luck with that, Aston. Now, Felicity and Jess, I might fire the same question to you. Was there a clear reason for you choosing who was going to do 1A and 1B?
Look, once again, I'm in the same position as you. She's the coach and she told me what to do.
So what did you get told to do?
1A.
Okay, so let's just hope 6 coffees can last you 10 minutes and you can get through that. Okay, fair enough. Felicity, can I ask you, is 1B a sprint, or is it something you have to pace? Will you break anything up? What are your thoughts on 1B? It's an interesting one.
Look, I think it's very similar. I've just got to keep chipping away, but as fast as I possibly can. I kind of think, hence why I gave Jess the longer workout. If you can win the same medal for a shorter distance compared to a longer distance, take the shorter distance. That's what I think. So she's got the 10-minute workout.
Great team member.
Certainly feel like that's the Olympic experience coming through. She's already showing us how it's done. Well, ladies, I might give you a few moments just to warm yourselves up, make sure that things are in their right position before we start. And while you are doing that, it is my great pleasure to welcome an athlete who's been to the Commonwealth Games for 2 separate events and is no stranger to the competition floor when it comes to functional fitness. Alethea Boone, welcome.
Hello, thanks. Good to be here.
Excellent. Now, I'm right in saying that you have tested this workout. Well, sorry, you have tested half of this workout and your partner Lima has tested the other half.
Yes.
Talk to me about some strategies, and you don't have to divulge who did what or who did well, but what's your suggestion for anyone trying this workout?
Oh no, we'll divulge. I did 1A, Lima did 1B, and what was your reasoning for 1B?
I thought 1B would be easier.
And were you right?
No, I actually finished 1B after the 10-minute AMRAP. So
okay.
Yep.
Do you mind us asking how much longer it took? Like, do you think they're quite comparable in terms of time for most pairs?
It's pretty comparable. I finished like maybe a minute after, but I'm an everyday athlete, so that's what I'll.
Epitome of an everyday athlete, weekend warrior, and he gave it a good crack.
Perfect.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's a brutal test. Can I ask you guys, is there a hidden or is there a part of this workout that caught you by surprise? Was there one of the movements that was more challenging than you thought it would be, Alethea?
Yeah, so I always think that if you move smooth, it is fast. And in this workout, that's definitely the case. Think about moving smoothly. The thing that got me was I didn't realize how much of a burner the whole thing was. From beginning to end, I thought I'd go out slower and then speed up, but it was a lung burner and a leg burner. And those drop squats, good movement.
So last one for you guys. If you had your time again, would you do the same workout each, or would you guys switch to try the other one?
I think we'd definitely switch. Lima would take the full 10 minutes and just go at his pace, and then I'll try and do the second one a little bit faster.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's like the grass is always greener on the other side. Well, we might ask our female athletes that are about to throw down about that in roughly 10 minutes time as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just as you are watching them warm up, what you'll notice that they were doing is setting up cameras and setting up timers. So we have support from the WeTime and WODproof apps. Now, the workouts can be found on both those applications at roughly 8 p.m. this evening. athletes, if you are ready, would you please give me a thumbs up? Beauty. All right. Well, to kick off the 2020 Grand Slam, we will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So remember, folks, you are watching effectively 2 different workouts. 1A is as many rounds as possible in 10 minutes of 10 overhead kneeling backpack step-ups, 12 tall plank alternating toe touches, 14 drop squats, and 16 backpack Russian twists. And then 1B is 2 rounds for time, the same movements, but slightly different rep scheme. 20 kneeling backpack step-ups, 24 tall planks, 28 drop squats, and 32 Russian twists. So right now, you are watching Lauren and Aston, and we can see Aston is just completing the 20 overhead kneeling backpack step-ups in 1B, and already on the 14 drop squats in 1A is Lauren. So it is difficult to know who's going faster here, mainly because 1B is obviously 4 times, so there's a different management of how you go about these events, but also the rep schemes are very different as well. Now, Lauren is already on her Russian twists in round number 1. And she is, of course, doing event 1A. If we move across to Felicity and Jess, completing the drop squats is Felicity. So she is doing 1A. And on the backpack kneeling lunges is Jess. And those backpack kneeling lunges, very, very difficult, a big leg burn, particularly as this workout has the drop squats in it already. Now, Felicity Lemke is on the backpack Russian twists and taking a short break. Now, remember, for these advanced athletes, the females have got 15 kilos or 35 pounds if you're working in pounds. So that is no joke. And Felicity Lemke has now completed 1 round, and we are 2 minutes and 20 seconds down. And Jess is on the drop squats. Now, if we flip back over to Lauren and Aston, and Aston is now on round number 2 of the 20 backpack lunges. Now, Lauren is making her way through the drop squats, and she now sits down into her backpack Russian twists. So still making her way through. In fact, having a little bit of trouble. Remember, it's a very large weight. So it's 15 kilos that the ladies have to hold overhead. So that's Aston. And once she got that weight overhead, she actually looked very, very comfortable indeed. But just the getting it overhead, depending on the size of the backpack that you have, it could make that push press very difficult indeed. Now, we see both the athletes now meet on the backpack lunges. So on the second round already is Aston. And we are 3 minutes and 36 seconds down. So at this rate, you would certainly think with Lauren and Aston that Aston is going to complete the 2 rounds well before the 10-minute time cap. Now, if we go back over to Felicity and Jess, and you can see that Jess is moving through those drop squats at a very, very fast rate. And now she is joined by Felicity, who is also on the drop squats. So it's to perform this with a partner is quite interesting. You'll certainly find that at times you're doing completely different movements at completely different paces. And then every now and then you will link up with them. So Felicity Lemke is flying on the drop squats, and she is making her way through the second round of the 28 drop squats, and she is now down to the backpack Russian twists. And she is moving at pace. She's got 32 backpack Russian twists. And she takes a break in between. Big, deep breaths. She is sucking it in. Felicity Lemke knows a thing or two about sucking air in. She's an Olympic gold medalist in swimming. And she is done, ladies and gentlemen. A touch over 5 minutes, 5:02 unofficial. Wowee. That was smoking fast, and she is pumped with it as well. Magnificent work by Felicity Lemke. So finishing up the second round is also Aston. She's going to be the next athlete complete. She is on the 32 backpack Russian twists. And she is done as well, ladies and gentlemen, in 4:38 unofficial. So we've got 5 minutes and 46 seconds done, and the two remaining athletes will be moving until the 10-minute mark. Well, we certainly heard that the two-rounder can take up to 10 minutes, and I have no doubt that that would be the case. But in this case, the 2 rounds has taken almost half that time for both these athletes. What a wonderful, wonderful performance by Felicity Lemke and Aston Friend. They were flying. Speaking of flying, we've got Lauren on the drop squats now. And I will admit to be my ability to count rounds when we've got 2 different workouts on has gone through the window, but I'm imagining that this is round number 4. Round number 4 it is. Thank you so much. This is 2020 indeed, when you've got partners confirming the score through Zoom for you. So the Russian backpack, the Russian twists seem to be a real sticking point. A real sticking point indeed. We've got 3 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. And Jess is on the backpack lunges. She slams the backpack down. And she is now on the tall plank toe touches. So she's got 12 of those. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, in the 10-minute AMRAP, the reps are slightly lower. Well, not slightly lower. They're lower than the 2-rounder. So it's just 12 tall plank alternating toe touches. And now she moves into the 14 drop squats. Look at Felicity Lemke. She is barking orders at her partner. I love it. That's the sign of a leader right there. And we are not far away from this 10-minute AMRAP being expired. They've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. And Jess moves on to those Russian twists. And certainly I must say, out of all the athletes we've seen do the Russian twists, I feel like Jess is moving the best through that. I'm not too sure if the shape of the backpack has something to do with that. She's getting hounded by her partner. Now, on the alternating toe touches is, of course, Lauren, and she is moving very nicely through those. And this is the pace really hasn't changed for either of these women. We've got 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining, and you dare say that this will be the last round for these athletes. Lauren is on round number 5. So Lauren will complete round number 5 and move into round 6 with 90 seconds to go. She's on the drop squats, and she'll have the Russian twists to go to complete round number 5. Now the bag is down. The 10 overhead kneeling lunges really proving to be a sticking point. And what you just saw is Jess break up the set of 10, but she won't have to do these again. You wouldn't say, with only roughly a minute remaining. She's looking up at the clock. The bag goes down. She might not see that bag again if she's lucky, although at that rate, she's probably going to get to the backpack Russian twists. We've got 53 seconds remaining. If you're at home, get off your seat, clap your hands. There's no doubt that these athletes are pushing the pace and hurting. So Lauren is getting the backpack overhead, and she is on the overhead lunges. Meanwhile, flying through the drop squats is Jess. My goodness. She could well finish this round. We've got 27 seconds, and she's got 16 backpack Russian twists to do. Aston and Lauren, as I said, just barking at their opponent, at their partners. 15 seconds remain, ladies. 10 seconds. There is still time for more reps. 5, 3, 2, 1, and that is time. Goodness gracious me. I will need to get a score for you, ladies and gentlemen, from our various pairs. Now we know that Lemke finished just over 5 minutes, and Aston Friend finished 1B in about 5:30. Perhaps Flick and Aston, I'll start with you guys because you've had a little bit of time to take or catch your breath. Flick, can I ask you, did you expect it to be that fast? Were you thinking that it was possible to do in a 5 minutes?
Yeah, look, last night I gave it a little go. I just went through one set, kind of medium to fast pace, just to kind of give myself a bit of an idea of how long I was going to be in pain for. And I picked it that I would be just under 5 minutes, but, so be it. It's just over. It was awful. It hurt. Aston probably can agree. You get that nice little throat burn. And this kid can't even breathe. So, that'd be worse, I reckon.
Aston, was it not strange, but to be doing a workout next to somebody who's doing a different workout with a different rep scheme? Was that a challenge in some way because you didn't have anyone to pace off, knowing that they were doing something different to you?
Definitely. It does throw you out when they start a new exercise and you're still on the last one. I'm the worst at counting reps, so I just trying really hard. 1, 2, 3. So
now, Lauren's normally your coach, I understand it, but in that situation there, you had about 5 minutes where she had to continue working out and you were done. Were you barking instruction at her? Were you reveling in the ability to tell her to keep going?
Just a little bit. Giving it back to me.
And Jess, have you caught your breath there? Are you with us?
I'm good now.
Excellent. Jess, talk to us about, we haven't really asked about the technicality of the workout. What was the sticking point for you? Is there a particular movement that people need to be really aware of, or?
The overhead kneeling and step ups for sure. 100%. And going from the Russian twists into those is not nice.
Did you guys, and this is an open question to anybody really, who first in best dressed, did the backpack or the shape of the backpack make any difference, do you think? Or do you think there's something that athletes could think about there?
I grabbed the end of the backpack a couple of times that had no weight in it.
Yep.
You need to grab the weight, and then I was trying to balance it on my hand. So you need to take a second to grab the weight rather than the backpack. Nice.
Okay, that's a really good piece of advice. So perhaps not a massive backpack where you can't feel the weight. Would that, Lauren and Aston, would you sort of agree with that?
Absolutely. On a couple of occasions when my hands were overhead, the weight slipped from my grip, so I tried to have to readjust. So that's definitely a good tip, grabbing the weight, not the actual backpack material.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much for the 5 to 10 minutes of effort you just displayed. I think we've all got a good idea of what we're in for now. Not that I'm particularly thrilled about watching that. Thank you so much. And I think it is time for us to introduce our male competitors who we're going to bring on now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some F45 royalty in the house. Joining us is 3 times F45 playoff champion Peter Day and his partner Liam McKenzie from F45 Seaforth. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Thanks so much for having us tonight.
You're very welcome, sir. Now, Peter, this is a very unique situation for you. You are partnered with Liam, but you and Liam aren't in the same location. So how do you think this is going to work for you guys?
I think we had a bit of a chat before around strategies, but it's going to be really hard to kind of keep each other in check. Me and Liam have trained a long time together. We're very used to each other and how we work. It's going to be very different, but I think we'll make it through.
And Liam, can I ask you, with somebody like a 3 times F45 playoff champ, did you get to have any say in which part of the workout you were doing, or did you just have to take instructions? What's he like to be a partner with?
Well, we're both quite competitive, so I guess when it comes to teaming up together, it works quite well because we both push pretty hard. I am more of an endurance athlete, but Pete, when it comes to, I guess, more strength side workouts, can really push a little bit harder. So I'm looking forward to smashing it out nice and quick with the 2 rounds and then seeing what he can get done in the 10-minute AMRAP.
Well, I'll be sure to make sure that I let you guys know where you are each at respectively so you can support each other throughout this. Let's bring on our other pair, or introduce our other pair, I should say. And we've got ex-pro rugby player, podcast extraordinaire, business owner, dad, the man who's done it all, Mr. Dave Harvey, and Mr. Toddy Williams from F45 Castleville. Gentlemen, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Excited to go. Excited to see Pete Day in a singlet. That's half the reason why I'm here. Mate, pretty pumped. It's gonna be a good little throwdown. It's gonna be good fun.
Well, mate, I stalked his Instagram recently, and don't worry, there's plenty of that man in a singlet floating around on the internet, no doubt about that. Now, there's a friendly competition, but there's certainly some bragging rights on the line. When I call 3, 2, 1, go, it's on tonight, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so. I think mate, Toddy's pretty competitive. I know Pete Days and Liam are ridiculously competitive, and mate, I don't let my daughter win in anything. So she's only 3 years old. So I'm as soon as it goes, I think we've talked up a bit of fun, but when that whistle goes, it's gonna be pretty heated.
Absolutely. Toddy, have you guys discussed who's done what, and how did you come to the conclusion with who's going to do what in this?
Yeah, look, mate, we have Dave. He's a bit of a sprinter, so I think he's going to go into the 2 rounds where I think a bit of the endurance, a bit more would shape up to. So, yeah, we're just going to go with that, mate, and see how we go. Let's just rip in and get it done.
Love it. Well, gentlemen, I'll give you 30 seconds just to get yourself in position and make sure that you have your timers ready. And say any last words, virtual high fives with social distancing and whatnot.
Yeah, we've got it sorted.
Alrighty. And I'll just ensure that, yes, all athletes are muted. All right, gentlemen, we are beginning 1.20 and 2.20 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And away we go. And as I said, we have some F45 royalty in the house. And there is no doubt that we are potentially looking for a very fast time here. We saw Felicity Lemke in the last heat go just over 5 minutes with the 2-rounder. Now we know that we heard Peter and Liam talk that they are very much trying to balance out their strengths and weaknesses. And Liam is more of an endurance athlete, so he's opted for the 10-minute AMRAP, whereas Peter is going up against Todd in the 2-rounder. All right, now Dave is on to the alternating toe touches, and Peter and Toddy are, in fact, Peter Day is now on the Russian twist. So Peter Day is going to do a round of 1A in almost less than a minute. That is very, very fast. So no surprises there. Peter Day is your early leader in 1A. He is on to round number 2. In 1B, we've got Dave and Liam on the alternating, or I do apologize, on the drop squats. So both those gentlemen are in round number 1 on the drop squats, and they are pretty much head to head. In fact, Dave now moves to the Russian twist, and Liam is finishing off the drop squats. So your leader in 1B is Dave on the Russian twists. Your leader in 1A is Peter Day on the alternating toe touches, and he leads that by a few reps. Let's call it five reps or so. So at this rate, we are looking at well under a 5-minute time for 1B from both these gentlemen. In fact, Dave Harvey, at the rate that he is going, may even break the 4-minute mark. We're at 2:27 right now. Liam McKenzie and Dave Harvey are flying through 1B, and Peter Day and Todd Williams are moving very quickly through 1B. So unsurprisingly, Peter Day is on to round number 3, and he's your leader in 1A. But I tell you what, Toddy Williams, he will not go away. He is giving chase to Peter Day and providing a real nice competition for us to view here. So onto the alternating toe touches, or the tall plank alternating toe touches, I should say, 24 of them for Dave Harvey. And we're at 3 minutes and 17 seconds. So he's probably unlikely to break the 4-minute mark, as I talked about, although he is on to the drop squats now. All right. So all eyes right now are on Dave Harvey, who is on the drop squats. We're at 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Once he picks up that backpack, he is only 32 Russian twists away from registering a time for event 1B. This man, ex-pro rugby player, is showing us what years of experience in strength and conditioning can do. And he is moving with that 20-kilo backpack. He is flinging it around. And he's going to be done very, very shortly. Now, Liam McKenzie is also on the Russian twist. So, geez, it's going to be tight. Harvey and McKenzie neck and neck. And he is done in 4:20 unofficial. Goodness me. Well, I said that it was possible to go under 5, and I feel like Dave Harvey has shown us it's possible to go under 4. Now, Liam McKenzie is also on track to go under 5. So we have seen 2 very fast times, and Liam McKenzie is done in 4:39 unofficial. Wow. And McKenzie whips the shirt off. So we've got the 2 gents through 1B in well under 5 minutes. And now our attention turns to Peter Day and Toddy Williams, who are having an absolute battle royale. And Peter Day looking very calm. He is obviously no stranger to competition. The 3-time F45 playoff champ is on round number 5, I believe, and he is on his 10 overhead kneeling backpack step-ups. And Toddy Williams is on the Russian twists. So beginning round number 5 as well is Toddy Williams. Gents, you have roughly 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. And as I said, there's an absolute battle royale going on right now between Toddy Williams and Peter Day. Peter Day is on or about to finish, I believe, round number 5. So he's just moved to the Russian twists, the 16 Russian twists. And Toddy Williams is now on the drop squats. So there's about a 15 rep lead for Peter Day as he moves into his next round. And how about this? We're seeing Dave Harvey. He is jumping back in to support his teammate. And he had a few minutes rest, and now he wants some more. And this is a phenomenal effort. And really, this is what this event is about, ladies and gentlemen. It is about doing something together, enjoying working out with a partner, whether it be over Zoom or whether it be in person, like you're watching Dave Harvey and Toddy Williams right now, and pushing each other and getting a little bit more out of each other. And they both whip the backpack overhead, and they begin the 10 overhead kneeling backpack lunges. So this is round number 6 for Toddy Williams. Peter Day is in the 14 drop squats in round number 6, I believe. And he is flying, and following suit is Liam McKenzie, he has jumped in to support Peter Day. So we've got all gentlemen working once again. And we have 2.5 minutes to go. On the Russian twists is Peter Day. So 16 backpack Russian twists, and he's about to complete round number 6. Probably about 30 to 45 seconds behind that is Toddy Williams. And the pace is hot. So back on the overhead lunges is Peter Day. Does this man ever stop? In fact, that's an unfair comment because Toddy Williams has not stopped either. It's just simply the speed at which Peter Day moves at. So finishing up round number 6 himself now is Toddy Williams. He is on the backpack Russian twists. And now he begins his next round on the overhead backpack step ups. Ladies and gentlemen, we only have about 90 seconds left in event 1A and 1P for the 2020 Grand Slam. You are watching, as I've said several times, some F45 royalty throw down right now. All 4 of these gentlemen weapons in their own right. And 2 of them are still working for a score. That's Peter Day and Toddy Williams, and Dave Harvey and Liam McKenzie are simply moving now to support their teammates, which is very much in the spirit of this Grand Slam. We've got less than a minute remaining. And if you're at home, get up and support these athletes. Harvey and Williams are on the drop squats. Peter Day has finished another round of overhead kneeling lunges. The pace that he is setting is blisteringly fast. Down into the backpack Russian twists go Harvey and Williams. We've got less than 30 seconds remaining. And every last rep will count here. Day is on the drop squats. Williams is on the Russian twists. Day is now down to the Russian twists as well. We've got 5 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1, and time. We will let these athletes catch their breath for a short period of time. In fact, we've got Dave Harvey, who has worked out for 4 minutes, then rested, then joined back in. Mate, did you want some more after doing the 2 rounds?
I felt bad. I finished under 5 minutes. So I had to help Toddy out a little bit. He was killing it.
Now,
keep pushing him along.
Were you expecting it to be that quick, mate? Like it was a 4 minute burner, hey? And did you think that that's how long you'd be working for?
No, I actually didn't. When I looked at the start, I thought, it might be pretty similar to the 10-minute round.
Yep.
But maybe if you just move quick, one of the girls got over just mid 5s. I was like, yeah, sweet. I can try and go that a little bit quicker. It's just a matter of not resting and just going 20 unbroken, because the way it's set up, you pretty much go legs, core anyway. So you can battle through and just get a little rest in that muscle group before you go on the next one.
How was the backpack you used, mate? Did that help?
Mate, my backpack's about 22.1 kilos, so a bit of a rookie error there. But mate, yeah, it held pretty well. It's pretty tight and snug in there. We got big 20-kilo plates, so you can just hold each end. They worked pretty well with the Russians.
Toddy, was it great to have him jump back in with you, or did you just think, oh, mate, leave me alone?
It's always good having someone there next to you pushing you on. It just makes you never want to quit. It's the main part of it. Just don't keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you boys sort of have set the trend, and there'll be plenty of people jumping back in to help their mate out if they finish 1B a little bit earlier than the 10-minute mark. Peter, can I ask you, mate? I lost track of the rounds there, I've got to say, mate. Do you know how many you were on? Or are you going to have to watch the video back?
I was 4 reps short of the 8 round. So I did 12 Russians on round 8.
Mate, you were able to keep a really consistent pace throughout. Was there any movement that you found more difficult, or was it just about being consistent?
I think there's some movements there which you need to almost stay a nice pace, and some you can go a little bit faster. I think the weighted ones, Like the step ups, for example, I wasn't trying to go at any pace. I was just trying not to slow down.
Sure.
It's the heaviest movement in, probably the hardest one in there too. You can really gas yourself pretty quickly. So I was just trying to go at them at a reasonable pace and then kind of start moving as I got up and started the toe touches.
Absolutely, mate. Well, you're doing a ripping job of it. And Liam, you cut somewhat of a lonely figure, I must say, mate, wherever you're working out. Was it nice to be there by yourself, or was it difficult to sort of know that other people are accompanied by people and you're there?
I guess best of both worlds. I do a lot of training by myself, a lot of mind training and endurance training running wise. So it's nothing different to me. But yeah, looking up and seeing the boys pushing the pace. Dave, quicker than what I thought he would go out. But yeah, just had to try and chase him down. But yeah, he just had that extra push today. But yeah, it was good to see Pete just yeah, grinding through and keeping a solid pace.
Well, boys, you put on an absolute ripping show, and unfortunately, or fortunately for us, you're not done yet. We're going to get you to do another workout this evening. Now, at this point in time, I'm going to throw back to Matt, and he's going to talk to us. Matt, I hope you're there. You're going to talk to us about some Wonder Fit retreats or what we're hearing from some of our sponsors.
So, yeah, it's going to be an amazing weekend in Jervis Bay. So a massive thank you to Alethea and Khan for being fair game and good sports to come and spend an amazing weekend with us. So that's what the 6 divisional winning pairs will win. We can actually have 10 pairs on that weekend. So actually what we're going to be doing at the end of the 3 weeks, or technically on the 4th week, but after all of the workouts are completed for the Grand Slam, and for all athletes who have competed and uploaded their results, we're going to have 4 winning pairs, names out of a hat, who will also receive exclusive invitations to that weekend in Jervis Bay. So you don't have to be the fittest, the fastest, or the strongest. You just have to register. You have to be in it. You have to do the workouts. That's why we're here. And your name could be pulled out of that, and you'll be joining us in Jervis Bay. So that's absolutely amazing. We're really excited. We don't know when that's going to be. Obviously, with COVID-19 kind of spoiling the fun at the moment, and as well, we have to consider the competing calendar of Alethea and Khan as well. Again, they're up in the air at this stage with that as well. But nonetheless, date to be confirmed. That will be an epic weekend. What else do we have? I've mentioned the term WonderFit Retreats. I've mentioned Will and Carrie already, who have created the most incredible adventure holiday with a fitness twist, series of adventures and international retreats and trips around the world. Will and Carrie, they're friends of the Bay Games. They're friends of ours. They're absolutely headline sponsors of the event. And certainly last year, the winners from the Grand Slam and at the Bay Games also won access to some of their retreats around the world, such as Portugal, Costa Rica, Bali for sure, which is where they call home when they can. You know what? I have to give them a massive shout out, because right now they're in the US. They were actually on their way to one of the Portugal retreats when COVID-19 kicked off. So literally they're kind of stranded in the US, which, could be worse for them nonetheless. Will's American, Carrie's Canadian. But nonetheless, Bali is home. And at the moment, they're not able to get home. So they're kind of stuck in the US. As you can imagine, their business, like everyone else, is kind of up in the air. You can't run the retreats right now. So a bit like us with the Bay Games, it's kind of hurry up and wait and see how this thing plays out. But massive shout out to them, because in amongst all of this chaos, and they've had to postpone and cancel a bunch of retreats, they still have stepped up and offered something quite amazing. And that is 3 $1,000 vouchers for athletes who have registered and competed in the Grand Slam this year. And so what we're going to do each week, starting from next week, we'll be pulling names out of the hat of pairs who have competed and uploaded their results, names out of the hat live on this broadcast next week and the weeks thereafter. And they'll be the lucky recipients of the $1,000 voucher towards a retreat, maybe later this year, but I suspect it'll be next year. It'll certainly be valid for next year, no question at all. And you know what? I could describe them in 1,000 words, but what we're going to do now is we're going to hear from them themselves, and we're going to get a glimpse of some of the paradise that they call their office in different parts around the world.
Hi guys, I'm Carrie. This is Will.
And we're the founders of WonderFit.
WonderFit is an active adventure and fitness retreat company. We take you to the most beautiful places in the world. We combine fitness and active adventures.
started WanderFit to take my passion for fitness and Carrie's passion for travel and building a community of like-minded travelers. On our retreats, when you join us, you can expect to have some awesome fitness, meet some amazing people, experience the amazing culture that each of our destinations has to offer. Simply put, we make an awesome bucket list trip that you get to experience.
What we love so much about it is seeing people come as strangers and leave as friends.
Looking forward to meeting you.
There we go, Will and Carrie. They could possibly be two of the most awesome people on the planet. And as I mentioned already, Will is also the head of programming for the Bay Games, which of course includes the Grand Slam. And as we've just experienced, there's no compromise. Even though this is the C19 home edition of the Grand Slam this year, there's no compromise. They're real workouts, it's a real competition. And with that in mind, let's step into the world of 2.20 and find out what the second workout is that these athletes on screen are going to do for us tonight, and all of the registered athletes around the world are going to be taking under their belt over the coming 7 days. So workout 2.20, it won't take that long to introduce, but nonetheless, let's see what it looks like. All right, here we go. So it is as simple as this. For maximum time, hold an isometric backpack bear hug wall sit. So what that means is you're going to perform a wall sit with the backpack on your lap. Advanced males, again, as I said already, the weights will not change for the backpack. So advanced male 20 kilos, female 15, intermediate male 15, female 10. So they're going to do a wall sit hugging the backpack for as long as they can. That's the kicker. All right, now this is a test as much about physical strength as it is mental strength. Having done this workout, and I know we're going to hear from Alethea shortly and Lima, who've also done this workout. At the end of the day, without access to a full range of gym equipment, we had to come up with a test of strength using what we have available and at home, and something that can be judged. All of the workouts consider strength, fitness. They also consider the ability for us to, on video, be able to see that the movements are performed correctly. And so the wall sit is really one of the best tests of strength that we have available to us, given the circumstances that we're working with. So that is what workout 2.20 looks like. I can tell you it's a burner, but it's as much about the head as anything. Ed, what do you think? Where are we going to go with this?
Well, mate, I think our athletes have had enough rest, if I'm honest, and I reckon we're going to get them started pretty soon. And I might interview them as they do the workout rather than before and ask them what their strategy is on the go. But perhaps just as I let them set themselves up and I give them a little bit of warning to organize their equipment, I might just hear once again from Alethea and Lima. Alethea and Lima, do I have you guys with me?
Yeah, we're here, Ed.
Okay. Well, talk to me. What are these guys in for? A max wall sit? Goodness me! Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, like Matt said, this is as much the mind as it is the body. And for this one, I mean, you got to find that happy place, embrace the burn that you're going to feel in your legs, and just stay in the zone. It definitely is a mental challenge, but I think, like anything, find a little bit of grit, dig deep, and realize that the pain is just temporary. I know Lima and I had a bit of fun doing this one, bit of banter going on. How was it for you, Leams?
Yeah, great short workout for me. So, great sprint great sprint workout for me. Pretty happy.
What's the main topic of conversation in a max wall sit? Do you guys discuss serious issues? Did you tell each other jokes? What was the deal?
I don't think there was much talking. At first, the first few seconds, you think, oh, this isn't so bad. And then next minute, it's a lot of groaning and weird sounds coming out. And a lot of closing your eyes and finding that happy place and just keep going.
Well, we might need to warn people to turn their Zoom volume down because we're about to hear 8 people do it at once with their microphones on. So thank you so much, guys, for your tips on both the first 2 workouts. I'm sure that people have found them really helpful, including our athletes that are about to perform them now.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. All right, athletes, if we can get you up against the wall with your backpack And do we still have Lauren and Aston? Felicity and Jess. Here we go. Just make sure. Yep, excellent. Ladies are in place. All right. Folks, we're going to start in 10 seconds. Sorry, Dave, I'll give you a moment to organise yourself.
Oh, geez, my bag got heavier.
Did you keep an eye on it, or do you reckon Toddy might have loaded it up?
He's 20 in it.
Come on, Dave, I saw you taking those weights out.
No, I put more in, mate. I took one out.
Okay, max wall set begins in 3, 2, 1, go. All righty. So I've got I'm sport for choice here. So I might start with Flick because you probably had the most rest of anybody. How long are we going for here, mate? Is this a 3-minute workout for most people? Is this a 20-minute workout? What's your predictions here?
We've got no microphone Felicity, but just everyone who can hear me, guys, to the athletes, I'm just jumping in here. Sorry, Ed. Can we make sure that we're at 90 degrees, please, with the wall? Legs have to be 90 degrees. I'm not going to name and shame unless you make me. So I need at least 2 of you to get a bit lower. And being ladies, you're fine, actually. Don't worry. I'm talking about the boys at the moment. Yeah. All right. Thank you. That's right. So the movement standards do require that the athletes are sitting at 90 degrees. So that means their legs and their backs. Very good, Ed. Sorry, just I had to jump in there. Back to you.
No, that's totally fine. I feel like I can still see some above 90 degrees. Maybe Liam just a tiny bit lower there, mate. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sink into it. There you go. Okay, team. So let's talk about this. Maybe we seem to be having some microphone issues with Flick, so I'll flick across to you, Dave. How long are we going for here, mate? Are we going based on how you're feeling right now? Are we going for a minute or two, or are we going for 10?
Guys, can we get the microphones on? Okay.
I'd rather get on the air bike, do 48 cows. Okay. Do burpees, do a couple of thrusters, do the playoffs 4 times, then wall sit.
We missed the first half of what you said, mate. We had the microphone down, but we came in at 40 cals on the assault bike. So
I'd rather do that 10 times than wall sit. I reckon I'm out in about 20 seconds.
Oh, mate. Okay. I might look. We didn't get to hear from you before, Flick. I'm sorry. Your microphone was down. How are you chucking them?
Toddy's gone.
Toddy's gone. Hold on, we've lost one already by the looks of it. And I think Toddy Williams, who was the last man and he's out.
Oh.
Now, in fairness to Toddy, before we start laying down on him, he was the last man to stop moving before, along with Peter Day, who is still against the wall and looking like he could have his dinner there. But Toddy was one of the last people to stop moving. Peter, are you as comfortable as you look, or is this just game face from you?
Better wall sit.
Now, we've got Felicity and Jess are out. So both Felicity and Jess are out.
Hi. Oh, well.
So are Dave and Toddy. So I've got 4 people still working. Lauren and Aston, Peter.
Holy shit.
So interestingly enough, the 4 that are out are 2 pairs. So it does seem that once one partner goes, the other one goes. Peter Day is out. So the great Peter Day is gone. And Liam McKenzie has held off all competition, but it is Lauren and Aston. Currently looking very comfortable. Lauren and Aston in fact, Liam McKenzie is out. So we've got 2 remaining athletes, and they're both partners with each other. Lauren and Aston, are you as comfortable as you look, or is your camera frozen, or what's going on there?
I am cursing Matt. I can imagine him giggling watching us right now.
Well,
4 minutes is my goal. What are we at?
We're at 3:26, mate, but I should have told you that, I don't know, I could have really messed with you then, and I didn't. We're at 3:30, so if you can hold on for 30 more seconds.
30 seconds.
Do you know what? I reckon they'll hold on, team, if we all get behind them. So if everybody just provides some encouragement for the next
I'm dropping.
17 seconds.
Hang in there, guys. Doing well.
Hang on to it.
Hold it.
Looking strong.
They are looking very strong. We're at 3:55.
Wow.
Go to that happy place and go for 5 minutes.
4 minutes. Comfortable. Wow, wait. Is there glue on that wall or something? Okay, one more down. Lauren is out. Aston. queen of the wall sit, has seen off all other athletes at the moment. Now, are you going for the 5-minute mark, Aston?
I'll try.
We're at 40 seconds to go. Have you ever done this before? Is wall sit part of your training program?
God, no. Who would ever do this? It's awful.
Now that you've told us you haven't trained it, maybe you don't need to train it to get good at it, but you're doing a magnificent job. Are you holding the bag a particular way, or is this just all made up on the spot?
I'm just trying not to think.
Okay.
Oh, he's in the zone.
Right. Do you reckon I'm contributing? Like, do you reckon my questions are probably helping you? Can I take credit for what I'm asking?
I'm sorry, I'm not even listening at this point.
I'm going to take credit then. I'm going to say that's a yes. You are at 5 minutes, mate. You have made it. So you're at 5:02 right now. And fair to say we didn't factor this time into the broadcast. much longer than we thought. We didn't think we'd have an athlete just sitting there by themselves, but so be it. Lauren.
And I promise there is 15 kilos in there. Oh,
I was about to say, Lauren, look to your right and do a little bit of a protractor style measurement for me. Is she below degrees?
I don't think I can get her.
Okay, that's okay.
Oh, they're burning now.
Gentlemen,
Oh, well.
my stopwatch is broken. It's 5:40.
What was it?
5:40 you're on, mate. 5:40.
All right, let's go to 6.
We're going to see. Why not, hey? You could be there for a while. Other athletes are beginning to shower and get changed, mate. They're having protein shakes and families. You'll be wall sitting here for the rest of the evening. 6 minutes is done. Done. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Look, I won't ask for too many descriptions there, but on the count of 3, you're all going to give me a word association with the feeling that you just had. 1, 2, 3.
Hey.
Just got a big blur, but I'm sure it made sense. Guys, on behalf of the Grand Slam, on behalf of Matt, we just want to say thank you so much for giving your time up and demonstrating these workouts. It was our absolute pleasure to watch you guys go at it. I think all everyday athletes are inspired by what you guys do day in, day out, and what you did for us tonight. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Maddie, how'd you find this evening? What a show we had, mate.
Oh, absolutely. What an amazing display by some amazing athletes. I had to laugh there at the end there. Aston said, I just know that Matt's watching this giggling, and that is literally what was happening in that very moment. So she was quite right. But no, I mean, hugely grateful to all the athletes that turned out. I mean, they have families. It's midweek, and before tonight we had a dress rehearsal and all sorts of stuff. So massive thank you and kudos to everyone involved so far. And what a demonstration of speed, power, and strength.
Yeah, some phenomenal efforts there, and all just really great athletes to watch. So Matt, let's talk about what people should do from here to get involved, and what are sort of the steps that they would take from here, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. So clearly, for those who haven't yet registered, who are perhaps sitting on the fence or have been, it's time to jump off the fence, pull out the splinters, get online, go to thebaygames.com.au and register. So that's certainly step number 1. If you have already registered, you now know what the first 2 workouts are. And the first thing I'd suggest you do is go to the website and download the movement standards. If we're probably beyond 8 o'clock now, so they will be live on the website very, very shortly. Download the movement standards, watch the video, download the WeTime app or WODproof app if you prefer, and get familiar with that. Certainly the workouts 1 and 2 will magically appear at 8 o'clock this evening. That's probably passed already. And then I think it's from there, really. Look, feedback from last year was we had the live announcements on Friday nights last year, and we had quite a lot of feedback that Thursday nights would be better, so that because it seemed a lot of people wanted to hook into them on the Friday night. So we've got a long weekend. If you're here in Australia, we have a long weekend. So the trick is get in touch with your comp buddy, decide when and where you're going to do the workout. Think about the strategy you're going to employ. As we've seen tonight and as we've heard from Alethea and Lima, strategy really is so important when it's a pairs workout. It makes a huge difference. And then really after that, get it done. And my advice is get it done early, do them. Think about when you're going to do them, and give yourself time for a rerun. because it's not unusual to do a workout and then think, oh, we could have trimmed off some time here or there. And if you've left it to the last minute, you haven't got time to recover and go again. So that would be my advice.
Brilliant, Matt. Well, last but certainly not least, mate, I want to thank you for all that you're doing in the fitness community, but more specifically for putting on this magnificent event and donating to the worthy causes that you're donating through with the registrations, mate. So thank you.
No, not at all, Ed. It's a pleasure, and what an amazing community to be a part of. So thank you for your support tonight, and yeah, looking forward to the next week as it unfolds, and we do this all again next Thursday with Workout 3.
Certainly can't wait. Well, folks, that's all from us tonight. We will see you same time, same place next Thursday. Train hard and train safe. Good night for now.